Today I finally reveal a server we've been working on that's full of some amazing builds featuring a Japanese castle base with a ton of design and a crazy underground area, a giant flaming pyramid base that's personally one of my favorites in the world, a beautiful circular base that is mostly underwater with an awesome ocean view, a giant wizard tower that actually contains various mob farms, an interesting spawn area, and a bunch of redstone farms for basically every item you'd need scattered throughout the world. This video has been a long time coming. Today I'm going to go through a tour of the whole world and show you what we've done so far. Hey, what's going on everyone? So I thought for a long time how to start off this video, and I figured it was only right to start it off at the spawn. So this is the spawn point in the world right over there. And we have a lot to cover today. Honestly, this is the Spawn City map, and then over here on the back side, this is the Dream Valley map. And Dream Valley is where I've spent a majority of my time on this server, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be at the very end. But essentially we are up here at the green arrow right where my cursor is. That is the spawn chunk, and we have all of this to cover today as well as the backside. Whenever we first started out, this was just a plain mountain. There was nothing down there, and I knew that I wanted to build something on top, but I didn't want to get rid of the mountain. I really wanted to use the natural landscape, so you can see I kind of just had a little staircase going up to the top where I have the build. Okay, so you can see up elevator, down elevator, and then over here we have our little staircase. Let's go on inside. This is just pretty standard, a nice little, you know, if somebody spawns in and they needed a quick place to sleep, there's beds up here. We have a nice little master bedroom, which was created by my wife, honestly, and it's a good time to talk about that. So in this world, I would say majority of the builds were created by me, followed by my wife, and then there was somebody else on the server. His name's Edwin. He has an amazing pyramid base, which we'll get to soon. And then we have some other friends that were on the server as well, and we will get to all of them later. If you come out here, you have what has been deemed the floating islands, and this is why. So you can see they're both, or all three of them are just kind of floating here. So we have this side right over here, which is just kind of crops. You can see there's a collection on the side. You simply just come over here. Really simple redstone, activates the water, harvest the crops for you, and they all come right over here into this chest. But yeah, just a little crop area. This is my favorite food farm, which is a little bit controversial, I'm sure, but the cooked chicken, oh man, the automatic cooked chicken and feather farm is just the GOAT as far as I'm concerned. This was our very first wool farm over here. It was used for just, you know, basic wool at the start of the game before we had farms that could give us all the different colors of wool. And then we have an egg farm, which we never use, but my wife thought it would be really cute to have a little chicken hut in here. And then this is an interesting farm, I'd say. It's a little bit manual, but essentially you have all the cows up here, right? And you can breed the cows, which creates babies that come down below because the adult cows can't fit through here. So the babies eventually make their way down through here into this chamber where they eventually grow up, and then there is lava to produce us infinite steak and leather. And you guys, prior to this server, or I guess, you know, this world, we didn't really know too much about the game in general. We had played Minecraft before, but we didn't do a whole lot with redstone, so it was a lot of basic stuff. We later on got more advanced with redstone, and at this point we now have pretty much every farm in the game for like every item, almost every item. And then also you'll notice that our design over here at the start of the game was pretty poor. I guess it's decent. And then later on, as we move down to Dream Valley, you'll see that the interior design and the design of our builds ended up getting a lot more complicated and you know, advanced. This was a villager farm. We used them for that villager trading hall over there, and that is super nerdy. I can't wait to show you guys that. So yeah, let's make our way back in through here. So it kind of connects the three islands connect over here, and then we have a little enchanting area, and then we are back at the master bedroom. And then down here we have our original mine, and this thing spirals all the way down the mountain to bedrock, and we have various strip mines down there at different levels depending on the resource that we're trying to mine. Down here, as we move down, we have two things. We have an iron farm and we have a kelp farm. The exterior of the iron farm is not too pretty. That's an original build by me. Essentially what we have is an iron golem dying in the middle because there's a zombie right there being pushed up by a piston. And we have villagers right there in these beds, And as the zombie gets pushed up, they get frantic, which causes the iron golem to spawn. Infinite iron is just, it's a must, honestly. Everybody needs it. And as you know, a byproduct of that is poppies and infinite red dye. So now over here, this was a big aha moment for us in Minecraft. You can read these signs. It says Kelp Farm for dried kelp block to use as fuel instead of coal. At this stage in our game, I think that we mainly use bamboo. We have a pretty big bamboo farm now that it's such a great fuel source, and we have so much of it that we've just decided to move away from the dried kelp. And then down here we have a pretty objectively ugly building, am I right? Like, there's nothing too crazy about that. Little tiny garden over here, just a nice little starter garden. And this building is actually the community center. If somebody comes to the world, they'll spawn up there, and they could use that as a base, but we kind of needed a good spot in the heart of the spawn city where we could meet and give the new player items and things like that. So a new player could come here and come down here and have access to a bed and various different resources down here. And this is also actually a good time to talk about everybody that's on the server right now. So we have me, Alex, in the top left. We have my better half and wife, Kiara. We have Edwin, Kyler, Christian, Chasen, Asher, Saxon, Rudy, and then shout out to Vernon and Zach, the two people that did not want to participate, but we love them anyway. Over here we have a nice little mission board. I'd say this is kind of nice if you have a small group of friends, and we pretty much we're done with all of the missions at this point. I think we just didn't come back and mark those as completed. Let's go on over here, and we have, I think, 3 builds to show you over here. So this first one is Kyler's crib. This is his base. And if everybody could please take a moment in the comments to roast Kyler for telling me he would complete it in time for the YouTube video and then not completing it. I'm joking, by the way. Don't roast Kyler in the comments. And all of our builds, you'll notice, that are designed by other creators, we have our own little spin. So this down here, this downstairs area, this is not, Big Tony does not have this. That's a trap, by the way. You die if you go down. Now, if we come over here, we have an all color wool farm. Essentially how this works is we have 2 Jebs, just as our mascots. We have an observer looking at the block that the sheep is standing on, and as the sheep eats the block, right here. So you can see this sheep ate the block of grass. That activates the observer to fire the shears at the sheep, which then collects the wool down below. Can't recommend this enough, and it actually looks really cool on the map as well. Okay, so it looks like we only have one more build to show on this side of the river of Spawn City, and you just take a pathway over there from the community center to this nice cave, and you have a nice little area over there where you can take it out to the villager trading outpost in the desertish area. Or you can come over here to these docks and go to Christian's base. Okay, so it looks like somebody left a nice little sign here for him at his entrance, but as you go in, and I launch rockets everywhere, you'll notice that we have a nice little scenic area on top, and this base is 1/3 above water and 2/3 below water. So you'll start to notice that the interior design is kind of stepped up a little bit. The further we go on into the world, the interior design gets a little bit better and better. So it looks like we have a fish tank inside this glass house. One of my favorite things about this base is the view. So, and I think that was the whole point around doing an underwater base, was to get a nice, view. And whenever you're ready to leave, you just pop out at the top and you're good to go. Works as like a little elytra deck. Okay, and that is pretty much everything on this side of the river of the Spawn City. So now is a good time to give you guys a nice little cinematic shot of what this place looked like before and what it looks like now. So yeah, we have made a lot of changes over the months. I think we'll probably show the Nether second to last. So let's go ahead and go on to the other side and go to the train station. We have a lot of growing into this place to do. We have, you can take these train tracks to Dream Valley, but then over here we have location TBD, TBD, and TBD. So we've kind of built out areas to go to future POIs or points of interest. Whenever you first get here, you can read this sign. It says the top floor of this train station shows POI coordinates. If you need to go to a certain type of biome, or if you can't remember where a certain farm is, so yeah, I mean, you have the coordinates up there for that, and it's like really helpful. So this is a turtle that has a bunch of turtles living inside of this. You can read these signs if you're interested in how to use this thing, but essentially the turtles spawn in here. We put eggs up top. which gives us scute. We've already harvested it recently. The turtles have a nice place to live, and then we release them out the backside of the turtle. It hasn't really been too practical, like we haven't really used it too much, but it is just a really cool build. Anyway, let's go and check out the villager trading outpost. So you could take these train tracks from the train station all the way over here, and they bring you to one of the nerdiest places on the server. But yeah, we have a dripstone farm and we have a melon and pumpkin micro farm. So here we have every single type of villager trader. My favorite section of this whole villager trading system being our librarians. So every single trader, not just the librarians, every trader is a master trader, and our librarians have every single type of enchantment that you could need. I think we're just missing one enchantment, one or two. Obviously not the enchantments that not counting the enchantments that you have to get in the deep dark, for example, like Swift Sneak or other enchantments like that, because I don't think that in 1.19 they sell those. So you can see we just have villager traders on villager traders on villager traders. They are everywhere in here. Pretty much anything you need you can get over here, and it also produces infinite emeralds, because in some of our various farms we have infinite wheat, or we have infinite potatoes, for example, which we get emeralds for, or we also have, you know, infinite paper. We have various ways to get infinite emeralds, and then you can buy anything you need here. Okay, and then I think that the only other two things to show on this side would be our two farms. You can see we have two AFK platforms up there, and both of those link to these two farms. This is a witch farm, and I actually forgot to let you guys know that the world seed is going to be down in the description. So if you want to see all of this before there were builds, go ahead and throw in that world seed and follow along and just kind of check out these areas. But whenever you plug in the world seed, you'll see that where I'm standing right now was actually a witch hut. And then essentially you wait up here for a little bit, and you wait for the witches to spawn. And you know, typically we'll just wait for like maybe 10 minutes to an hour, and then what you do after that is you come down and die, and they should fall down eventually into the killing chamber. Essentially we have 24 or 25, I can't remember, mine carts there, which is the max mob cap for a single block. So then whenever the witch falls in, they take damage, and then we get their drops, and those are some insane drops. Okay, and then as you get more into the redstone, we have another farm over here that's necessary and actually has much more impressive drops, and that is the slime farm. I can't remember the drops on this. I think it's like 900 slime balls per hour. It's just ridiculous. It's the exact same concept as the witch AFK platform. So we have an area over here with scaffolding. You could grab scaffolding here and make your way up, or if you have an elytra, you can fly up to the AFK platform. Oh yeah, it's 576 slime balls per 10 minutes, so that's just absurd. And I think it goes without saying, but I'll go ahead and explain it now. But the reason why you have the AFK platform so high up is so that way you limit the spawns to just in this little area, right? So that's to maximize your spawn rates. I suppose we can take a moment to talk about the Nether Sword, although we're gonna have to come back to this later. So you have the Nether Sword to go to the general Nether, or you can go below the sword, and we have another portal down here that is the exact amount of blocks away, or almost the exact amount of blocks away, to go to the Nether Ceiling. So of course we did the glitch with the Ender Pearl to get onto the Nether Ceiling, and then linked it to another portal, which is all the way down there. But I think that we will do the Nether and the Nether Ceiling second to last. So this is Edwin's base, this giant flaming pyramid. This thing is so cool. Now he's not fully done with this thing. He still wants to terraform the outside a little bit. So as you can see, it's not fully done on the exterior in terms of like the land and terraforming goes. But we have a giant pyramid up here with a double beacon up top. So he has a staircase going down on the inside. No interior design yet, so he is still working on this. Yeah, so definitely more to come on this base, and I know Edwin's gonna do some amazing things. He's already showed me kind of what he wants to do with the interior, and yeah, this is gonna be a pretty amazing base. And this is also a really good time to show you guys a before and after shot on how this looked. It was a giant mountain. So let's go ahead and show you guys what this looked like before Edwin got his hands on it with a ton of TNT. So yeah, absolutely insane base. And over here you can see his original base. Whenever he first came to the server, he had kind of a little stone area, a little stone farm. And he also has his own mission board over here, which I believe those are all completed as well. Here was his original house. But yeah, you just go up here. He's got a nice little area on the second floor. On the third floor, he's got a little deck area, and then you can go up top where his living quarters are, as well as a nice little elytra deck. He also converted this village here. If you plug in the world seed, you'll see that this area was all just a village at first, and he converted them into Airbnbs. So we have Rudy's first base over here, and then he converted these other ones in Airbnb. So this one says Airbnb number 2 costs 4 pork chops per night. So yeah, and then he's got a little bit of a food area over here with the chicken farm, of course. But for now, let's go ahead and make our way over here to the wizard tower. Again, another area of the server where we spend a lot of time. And the reason for that is these two signs right here. So you can say it says the following farms are below the tower: skeletons, glow squid, zombies, and spiders. But essentially we have a creepy little wizard tower here. And I guess somebody could live here if they're into like the whole spider web, you know, creepy vibe. You could take the down elevator down to our, you know, mob farms for XP or various drops. Or you could take the top. You could take the up elevator all the way up to the top, where it looks like we have, you know, a wizard or a witch living over here. Just a creepy vibe. And originally, in the original build, the crystal is not covered in a glass dome. But I kind of added that because I'm just too afraid of somebody coming up here and smacking that and just taking out our whole upstairs area. But you also have the down elevator, which I'm taking now. Throughout our various strip mines that we have in all of our bases, you know, you come across a mine shaft or some sort of a cave that has spawners, and then we kind of linked them all down here. You can go down for the collection of the glow ink, or you can go up, or you can go this way for the skeleton, spiders, and zombie spawners. So essentially you can stand up here on this red wool, just a tiny little AFK area, and then you can come down here for the actual collection area. Let me first go to the area where we can look at them. What we have is we have a bunch of different water columns in here that are at the top of them. They have a stone for the spawning of the glow ink, or for the glow squids. And essentially in that section it's light level 0 so that they can spawn, and whenever you're standing on the AFK platform, it's the correct amount of blocks away from the spawn to where they'll spawn and then swim out of the water column into the magma blocks. And apologies because you can hear our spider spawner as well. It's pretty close. But essentially what we have is we just have redstone pushing our hopper minecart around, collecting all of the glow ink sacks, and then they are brought here. So huge game changer for making your world look amazing. And then we have an ice highway just to jump on, because again, like I said, it's a bunch of different spawners that we've connected into like a single system. But yeah, we have the spiders and zombies that way and skeletons this way. I'll just show you the skeleton one. They're all pretty similar, so we're not going to go into all of them. But essentially we have a skeleton spawner up there. The water pushes them down here into the killing chamber, and then they die because they can't see me and I can see them. Now is a good time to send you guys to the before and after of the wizard tower. So I guess we can show you that right now. Okay, that is pretty much everything in Spawn City other than the Nether Sword. So really all we have now is we have the Nether and we have Dream Valley. So let's go ahead and hop into the Nether. Okay, so as soon as you arrive, we have a nice little hut here. We kind of got a bad Nether spawn. I don't really like this biome too much. And we have a bunch of different paths we can take. So let's start here. So you essentially go up here, and once you make it to the top, you have a few different paths that you can take. So essentially, as we were traversing the Nether, we were gathering the coordinates, right? The X and the Z coordinate of where certain points of interest were. And then once we had all those coordinates, we dug up into the ceiling, sort of, almost the ceiling, obviously, not the actual ceiling. And then we just kind of dug tunnels in those directions. That way we can kind of avoid all the mobs and we can just get there. Let's go ahead and go back down into our Nether base. And you can see right there what we're about to show next. We're going to show you guys our Froglight Farm, which I do not suggest to anybody. I really just can't suggest it. And that's mainly because working with the frogs in the nether is a giant pain. It was so difficult. It does produce a lot of froglight though. I mean, we kind of AFK'd this for a while and got a lot of froglight over here. But yeah, you spawn the iron golem up there. It attracts them all over here, and then the powdered snow hurts them, and the frog also hurts them and eats the baby magma cubes. And then over here, if you follow the path, it takes you to a nether fortress. And we have a blaze farm. Blaze rods and XP. What do you know? Really, the only thing that I haven't shown you is the lava waterfall and the lava strider area. But essentially, you need to take 2 potions of fire resistance, and you need a warped fungus on a stick, and then you've got your strider boys, and you take them over here, open that up, and then you can take the lava waterfall down to the nether floor pretty much. Now, this concept was interesting. I think it's just better on paper than how it worked out, because coming back up the lava waterfall is just awful. You can see now I'm out here on the nether floor, and it says follow the glowstone path to a nether fortress. We found another bastion down here. We found like 2 or 3 types of bastions, including the one that has the magma cube spawner, which we're gonna do something with soon, and then also other nether fortresses and things like that. And we have a long way to wait now.
2 hours later.
So essentially you open up the gates, and then you just lure them back over there, and you just jump off. So yeah, but that is Roku and Molten, and if you get the Roku reference, you are a real one. I had mentioned that we had pretty much every farm in the game at this point, as of 1.19. And that becomes a lot more apparent on the Nether Ceiling. And you can see that this is our Nether Ceiling. We essentially have a bunch of different highways. So let's go check out this way first. So you can turn here for the end. And I just have one thing to show over here at the end. So you can take the portal to get here, or you could come here via the overworld, which is how we found it originally with the Eyes of Ender. You can see we dug down there once we found it. Or if you wanted to, you could go to the train station and you could take train tracks here under the world to make it here. So you have 3 different ways of coming here, and then just turn this way to go to the end, and you jump on in. And we have one thing to show you guys here. So once you come, or I guess 2 things. So we have the Ender Farm, which is just a must-have, but also over here we have this, the Wither Trap, and you can read those signs if you so choose. You can barely read them, whatever. And you spawn the Wither in the bedrock. They can't move, and the Wither dies. And what that does is it gives you infinite Nether stars. And then over here we have, I would say, a lot of people have this farm S tier. This is our Enderman Farm. And essentially how it works, let me show you. You come up here, and we have an Endermite in a minecart. And it triggers all the Endermen to go down. But yeah, you can see they all kind of feed in down here. And you just grab your loot, grab your XP. But yeah, that's really all we have in the end. I haven't done anything over there where we go and get elytras. Yeah, there's really not too much else going on over here. We do want to make some sort of a base though eventually. We just haven't yet. Okay, and now we are back to where we were before we checked out the end. We're gonna go this way. So this is where we have our snow biome and pillager fortress, aka our raid farm. But essentially what we have is we have a bunch of red wool from our wool farm, and you can take the red wool over here, grab yourself some bad omen if you'd so like, and then follow the red wool back over here once you have the bad omen. We have a couple villagers that are sleeping underneath this dirt, and it kind of, the game counts it as a village. Stand here, raid activates, and then you come over here to the raid house. You just kind of float on down to the bottom, and you just wait here. And the raid attracts everybody to the water, right? They all fall down here. They land the exact amount of blocks down to where they're 1 HP whenever they fall down here, and then I just smack them, and that allows me to get the drops. Obviously, the boats are here for the mobs that can go through walls, and you need to trap them because they do a lot of damage. So you can just kind of run around and get them into a boat eventually. And then over here, we have a pretty underrated farm, I would say. Because most people don't have a need for it, but late game, whenever you start using ice for highways and stuff, I'd say that this farm is needed. But essentially, we have a pickaxe here that you can use if you don't have Silk Touch. It's slowly icing up all the water, but at the very center point down the diagonal, we have these slabs that are preventing the snow from icing this middle area. And what this means is you can harvest the farm, and then to refill it, all you have to do is harvest all the blocks outside from the middle area, and that water flows out and creates water source blocks everywhere again. And then you have a nice little AFK area here while you wait for it to freeze again. And also, like I said, this server was used, you know, we learned a lot on this server, right? And we didn't know that you can get infinite snowballs from ice golems. I know, it's ridiculous. We didn't know that. And so for a while we would actually come here and gather snowballs manually in this snow biome. So it is what it is, and we needed a lot of snow for Dream Valley, as you'll see. And if we continue going this way, there's not too much left. We have a Piglin Farm, and then we have the Deep Dark plus an Ancient City. Piglin Farm, I rate this sucker like probably S tier. All the piglins are spawning because due to the slabs, that's the only spawn condition. And then they're all attracted to this egg and the iron golem, of course, and they fall down to the death chamber. But yeah, we have the collection system here. Obviously you get the gold nuggets, so it's infinite gold farm, infinite gold and infinite XP. But essentially you just stand here and it says, you know, if you have mending, hold or wear the item for healing. At this point in the game, especially with the villager trading outpost, we have perfect enchants on everything. Okay, and then if we continue going straight from the gold and XP farm, you can turn left here for the Deep Dark, or you can go straight for the Mooshroom biome. I'm not going to show you guys that. This is just instant access to the Warden, which we've pretty much looted that whole area and got access to the portal. Which at this point in 1.19, we have no idea what the portal is for, so I'm not going to show you guys that. And then we go straight for the Wither Skeleton Farm. Let's show you guys the Wither Skeleton Farm. Okay, here we go. So this is infinite skulls, bones, coal, swords, and XP. We had a little area where it attracts the Wither Skeletons to an iron golem. They go through a portal, it takes them to the overworld where there's a bridge, and then if I stand here, it activates the spawning platform to where they all get pushed along the bridge to another portal linking it back here. Obviously the rates, you know, trying to get, even with like a looting sword, trying to get a bunch of wither skulls manually at another fortress can be kind of a pain. So having one of these is pretty amazing. Oh, they're starting to come. So that means that the bridge is filling up in the overworld right now. Obviously you smack them around. Oh wow, I already got a wither skull out of that. I think that like it's my favorite to get a farm that has a bunch of value with like multiple items. That's what I really look for in my farms. So the Witch Farm and the Wither Skeleton Farm, those are huge wins in my book. All that's left is the Guardian Farm and Dream Valley. Oh, I forgot about the Hoglin. So there's an AFK platform above, and the Hoglins are afraid of the fungus, and it pushes them into the lava, where we get infinite cooked pork chop and leather. But yeah, so we do have that farm as well. And this is our Guardian Farm. So underneath, obviously we have the monument, and we have the spawn conditions where whenever you go up to the AFK platform, they all spawn here in a water chamber, pushing them to these campfire where they die. And the drops on this are just unreal. Check out the drops on this. So per hour, this farm produces that amount of shards, cod, crystals, and ink per hour. And whenever we get to Dream Valley, you'll see that we really did need those shards and crystals. All of the drops are getting pushed up here, and yeah, I mean, geez, look at these drops. Okay, the moment that you've all been waiting for, Dream Valley. This is the finale of the video, so if you've watched this far and did not skip forward, super appreciate it. Okay, here we are, and the first thing you see is the giant palace and the beacons, or I guess it's a castle, technically a Japanese castle. Some people refer to it as a palace. So if we go this way, that is Christian's base, and then we are now at the spawn city. So Dream Valley is just that way. But along the way, we have a creeper farm, and you'll notice I've used just an absolutely ridiculous amount of fireworks. And we owe this farm and the witch farm for that. And essentially, this is the same as any other AFK platform. You know, you have a spawn, or you have an AFK platform up top, which causes the creepers to spawn, and then the drops are collected below. So you have the docks if you wanted to come from Dream Valley that way. You also have this area here from where you'd pop out at if you were to come from Spawn City from the railroad under the sea. Or you have the Nether Ceiling right here. Now, there is a giant moat surrounding this place. We have a nice little sleeping bag area, little camp out where we have all of our, you know, trusty steeds. We have Hot Wheels. It's my wife's horse. We got Big Hershey right there. We have Marjar Jar Jar, Australian accent, of course. And we have Midnight. We have Old Gray. Old Gray has, he's seen some stuff. Then we got Snowstorm right there. But let's give you guys a nice little area of this. We'll give you a nice little fly around. We have a Cherry Blossom Lookout up here with a great view of Dream Valley. We have our tree farm over there that the whole server uses, basically. And then over here, we have an unusual farm that I can never seem to use correctly. And by that, I mean shut it off. So essentially, you can bone meal some of these farms to get the same of those farms. But this is our flower farm. And we have another one of these in a meadow somewhere to give us all of the different dye for the different farms that, or for the different flowers that you can only get in a meadow. But essentially what you do is you grab this bone meal, you throw it in here, which drops it into a dispenser down below. And then you activate it by slapping this. And then you slap the other one, and it's just going to send all that bone meal right here and infinitely shoot the blocks back and forth to harvest. So that was just a couple of seconds, and that netted me what? Yeah, that's pretty decent, right? So, and then obviously you can read the signs here on how to use that farm. But anyway, that is enough stalling. Let's get to some of the key areas of Dream Valley now and actually make our way in. So, my wife made this little pathway up here from the outskirts of Dream Valley. You can come up here and there's just some cake, you know, cake up here, sleeping bag area, candles, beautiful cherry blossom. We really do love our cherry blossoms, and I wish that Minecraft would just add them to the game. We have these banners all around for the maps to, you know, add names to the maps and so on. At the entrance, we have Aang and Katara. If you know those references, then you're a real one. We have a lush moat, which we did man-made pretty much, with various fish in it, although they don't seem to want to show themselves. And as soon as you come in, you'll notice that we have a lot of design going on. So let's go ahead and check this side first. You have a nice little entrance area, you know, come up here. Little lookout area if you need to throw hands with somebody. And then we have the exact same thing on this side. Now, as soon as you come out, you'll notice that in the floor we have some interesting design choices, and that's pretty much just to hide lighting, concealed lighting. That way we don't have, you know, mobs spawning here. So we'll use moss carpet and trapdoors here and there. But I kind of like it. It adds a little bit more of a texture, right, to the grass. Over here we have the Lord's house, which nobody lives in currently. Right now in Dream Valley, it's just my wife and I living over here. This is some crazy interior design, and actually this is a good time to shout out who is responsible for this build, the Japanese castle build. So the Japanese castle base, which we refer to in this server as Dream Valley, was made by Cortezarino. So I strongly suggest going and checking out that series. This is like a 10 video series plus if you count the exterior, the different trees, the castle itself. It's a crazy grind if you want to make this base. But we actually did more to it than Cortezarino did. We added some different areas, right? So in the original build, this backside is too small to have these builds, but we made it wider to have various farms back here. And then we made full use of the underground area, which Cortezarino doesn't. He stops at the storage system. So even if you're familiar with this base, stay tuned because, my goodness, it's insane. So yeah, but anyway, let's go ahead and continue with this. We've seen the downstairs living room area. We have a little upstairs area too, where somebody could live here if they so chose. Okay, we have a nice little pond here with a beautiful large tree and a bunch of little trees scattered throughout. And I apologize for this. You know, on paper, it seems like a good idea to make a statue with a talking dragon head and a dragon egg spear with a flaming shield thing. But it turns out that whenever you try to execute that, it just comes out looking a little cursed. So I apologize. But you know what? We love our dragon statue. So Over here we have a little flower garden with an axolotl pond. So we got Swimantha just vibing. Nice little area here where the water's coming out of. The design is just amazing, right? It loops in with the path and then cuts around over here. Over on this side, we really don't have much. It's just a path. I might do something over here in the future though. And also, I apologize for anybody who's wanting to look at the finer details, but if I don't fly around, this is going to take forever. We have our 2 iron golems. We got Bowser. And we have the upside down golem, Dinnerbone. And then, of course, we have the netherwort, beetroot, carrots, potato, and wheat. They're pretty much for decoration at this point. We don't need them. Obviously, we just use the villager trading hall for any crops that we need to buy. And then we have not 1, not 2, but 3 Bonemeal farms. But essentially, we have the Kelp Farm that grows up. It hits the observer, which fires the pistons. And then it sends the kelp flying forward into the minecarts, which is then, you know, dropped into a composter and turned into bone meal. And then we have a concrete generator, which is just a micro concrete farm, and you can pause and read those signs if you're interested in how it works, but I'm not going to go into it. Right, you just load it up here, and then you stand here and you have the powder in one hand and your pickaxe in the other hand, and you just put that on the water and you just mine your concrete. And then we have the basalt generator, we have the stone generator, and both of these work the exact same way. You just come over here, have a good day mining for basalt, and you just go crazy. And then it's the same thing over here with the stone generator, and of course you can use silk touch if you want to get just standard stone versus not using silk touch to get cobblestone. And then over here, oh my goodness, we have the super smelter. I love this thing. I'll let you guys read these signs if you are interested. But essentially, you just put what you'd like to cook up here. And I think my wife was smelting glass. Yeah, she was. So you could put your sand up here. And then in the back, you could put your fuel source, which we're using, looks like bamboo. And then you turn it on. And it will evenly distribute everything down across all of those. It's an amazing way to smelt a bunch of different things evenly across all of your furnaces, right? So it takes out the time of putting in items, putting in fuel, taking out the results, or taking out the final product, I guess. So yeah, love the super smelter, and it's huge for giant build projects. Back here, it's just kind of an overgrown area, right? You're not supposed to be back here, so although we do have a trap door, and I wonder where that goes to. Maybe we'll find out later. So there's the entrance. So you could come up right here, right? And you see a few things. We have the map area right here. You can see that we are at the green arrow right now. We have the docks where we came through, the portal and the railroad, the stables, the flower farm, Cherry Blossom Point, which we already saw. All we have left at this point is the Dream Valley Palace, or the castle, the guest house, the barracks, and also the tree farm. Let me go ahead and show you guys the tree farm real quick. That'll just take a couple seconds. And pretty much everyone in the world has used this at some point. You can stand here and use the bone meal to bone meal the moss to get various, you know, azalea, or, you know, just moss carpet and all of that, or moss blocks in general. Or you can come up here to this area and bone meal this to get that fungus, or, you know, bone meal this to get the crimson fungus. Or you could come in here, and we have little areas where you can put, you know, your saplings or your fungus, and then bone meal them up, as you can see has been done here, and collect every single type of wood. It's pretty sloppy. It's not the best tree farm. It's completely manual. We still need to create a fully automatic tree farm with probably use TNT if I had to guess which one we'll use. But yeah, you can see we have all the different saplings here. But yeah, as you look around Dream Valley, you'll see that we've used a lot of stone, a lot of warped panels, and we've used, you know, some dark prismarine, right, which is from our Guardian farm, as well as a bunch of snow. So kind of all of our different farms have kind of fed together to really make this happen. And I haven't shown the snow golem farm yet, but yeah, that is how we did gather a bit of snow. But anyway, let's go ahead and go over here. So again, we have the barracks, guest house, and the palace to cover. We have our giant mega beacon, which is a 6 rainbow beacon. All of the different powers, you can see them in the top right. We have all of them active. Let's come over here to the barracks. We could have a bunch of people live here if we wanted to. But yeah, just some, you know, what you'd expect to see in a barracks, right? A bunch of different beds and chests, and of course Toff Bay Fong. And then we have another cherry blossom tree, of course. Love that. And we have a little bit of like a chef's house type of thing that somebody could live in. I actually use this house a lot, just going in and out. Nice little desk area. And yeah, guys, really all we have left is the biggest feature of the entire server, which is the Japanese castle. This thing is a beast. It is a beast. As soon as you walk in, you can see we have our katana or our samurai sword here. I have no idea how my wife did it. It was in Cortezarino's video, using pistons to push them down. I love this though. Really, really cool. We have our talking dragon head, of course. No entry area is complete without a talking dragon head. And then the downstairs is a crazy, crazy feature to this castle. But we will do the upstairs first. So we have Leo, which is one of our dogs in real life. And then over here we have Lily, which is our other dog in real life. This room is kind of what my wife and I have used a lot, just because it's near the entrance and you can use an elytra to just shoot out here. So we've used this area quite a bit. And this is technically, right, like the first or technically the second floor. You come over here, you have a nice little, you know, dining area. With a place to cook some food and an enchanting area as well. I already showed you guys that room. You come up this flight of stairs and you have kind of like a little study area, I guess, with just some, you know, some couches, desks, another bed, and a nice little seating area over here. And then up here we have the top floor, which just has some beds and just a little bit of a railing. And it was a giant vaulted ceiling, but I added some beacons up there. So, and then we have a nice little elytra deck where you can kind of see out all of Dream Valley. We do have a little bit of an Easter egg out here on the deck, which most people never seem to find. But we have a little hidden guy up here, little hidden guy, right there, Flappy. He's just chilling out there, you know, getting some sun. But yeah, that's really all there is here. It's nice late game to have like a deck like that at the top where you can just fly in with your elytra. And again, the interior design is just nuts. Shout out to Cortezarino, and my wife did a lot of the interior design too. But now it is time to move on to the portion that is an original build. So this obviously shout out to Cortezarino. But the downstairs, a lot of this is us. This area is Cortezarino, right? He kind of did this chest layout, and you can see what we have over here. We have our, you know, our various ores, redstone items, building blocks. But then over here, you know, we have additional storage. We have our wool, our food items, things like that. We have our deep dark items. And this is where Cortezarino's video stops, is these two rooms down here and the upper levels of the castle. So everything else is original. I expanded this chest room again over here to fit more items. And now it is time for one of the crazier areas of Dream Valley, which is the underwater area, or not the underwater area, the underground area of Dream Valley. So to start off, we have the honey farm over here, produces honeycomb and honey bottles. We have a cactus farm, a double cactus farm, which goes back into the walls, which is decent rates, right? Nothing too crazy. And then we have a double chicken farm. You know, we love our chicken farms. And if you need a quick source of emeralds, we're pretty far away from the villager trading outpost, so you can grab some feathers and drop down here and trade them with this guy, right, for a, you know, a quick source of emeralds down here. And also we needed a quick source to get golden apples and, you know, also some carrots and glistering melon. And then also, if you have a non-silk touch shovel, which I do not, so it's going to just be, you know, standard shovel or standard snow that I'm getting here. But, you know, you could use a standard shovel and have snowballs to make snow blocks, which we needed a lot of those for Dream Valley. Shout out DK. Over here we have the 3 frog types. So we, you know, adventured out and got the 3 different types of frogs and made them a nice little mangrove area here. And here we have the all 7 panda personality sanctuary. So a nice little panda area. We've named them after their personality. And yeah, this thing is awesome. It's a 2-story sanctuary. It's an original build. And yeah, we have a nice little pathway here, and it is 2-story. So you can come up here, and you can see we got the aggressive one who just likes to be by himself. He's in his feelings. And yeah, now you'll notice if you just counted right there, we don't have 7, and that's because 2 of them died. And if you know how difficult it is to try and get like an exact personality of a panda, you'll know why we haven't, you know, tried to get all 7 again. I need to figure out why they keep dying. I've added some additional support here on the railing, but I think what it is I think they get stuck in here and they drown. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make some adjustments and then try to get the other 2 personality types back in here. So yeah, as we make our way around, you can go across this bridge and say hi to Hawk. And then over here we have our Mooshroom Sanctuary. Now I still need to take one of these up to the surface and have them be struck by lightning to turn into a brown mushroom, and then feed them daisies, so that way, you know, we can get that suspicious stew. And then we have a couple different crop farms, right? And these are also water powered, using that, you know, pretty simple redstone. You just activate that, it sends a signal down over there to activate the water. All the crops come down and they just load into that hopper and into this chest. And then over here we have our sugarcane farm, which I believe we need to convert this into mud blocks. I just found out that is better for sugarcane, although I haven't tested it. And then we have our primary fuel source in Dream Valley, which is this bamboo farm right here, which just puts in work, right? Like, we have more bamboo than we know what to deal with over here. So yeah, and then this leads us back into the chest area on this side. Now, if we go over here, there's a nice little area back here, which we've just done some, you know, interior designing with various foliage and a light flex right there. And it's just a little pathway, you know, just something. And yeah, that is pretty much it. There is a before and after cinematic shot of Dream Valley, and in the before, you'll notice that there was a lot of water here, and we pretty much just built on top of it. And that water source, you can go down here, and it's a bunch of different water tunnels, and it actually leads out to the ocean. So I can jump down here, and there's fish down here, and you can take these tunnels out a bunch of different areas down below Dream Valley and follow them out there, out to the ocean. And I've done a little bit of work, right? So this is the moat right here, and you can see right there, that's the other side of the moat, and that leads out to the ocean. And you know, there's some fish and it's been lit up. But yeah, I believe what we're gonna do is do some sort of an underwater city build below Dream Valley and expand downward. And also we have some hidden stuff over here on this side that we're working on as well. It kind of just looks like it stops here, right? Like there's nothing there. But you can come down this way, and yeah, we're gonna have a secret room down there where we can hide certain things, which we're gonna have to move now that this is on YouTube and you all know about it. But yeah, we have some different Easter eggs. The mine, this is a pretty typical mine, I would say, other than a few things. So it goes all the way down to bedrock, and we have, you know, various strip mines at different levels for the different resources you may need. But one thing that we do have, which I think everybody needs, is an Amethyst Farm. And especially if you like to make farms, you know, mob farms that you like to see into, you know, you're going to need that tinted glass. And essentially what you do is, and this is original, this isn't like any sort of a farm that's on YouTube. I think everybody's just aware of this. You just find an amethyst geode, which we found as we were going through a mine shaft. You can see right there the mine shaft that we were in. We came out here and found this amethyst geode, and you essentially harvest all the blocks that are not these amethyst blocks with the X on them. You clear out everything around the X, and it essentially is infinite amethyst shards, and you can use those shards to make amethyst blocks, and so it's essentially just infinite amethyst. But yeah, this is just an interesting farm that we were able to just connect to our mine. And we could go down there, but it's just a bunch of strip mines, so there's really nothing to show. Once we're up here, this is also original, and it is TBD, to be determined, but this is going to be a workstation room where essentially we have little huts for all of the different workstation blocks where you can come here for a little bit of everything, and also you have the second floor Panda view area. So Yeah, we still need to finish that, which means that really the only incomplete areas of the world right now is Kyler's base and that little workstation room. It looks like it's nighttime, so that's an interesting opportunity to kind of give an aerial view of how everything looks at night when everything is lit up. But yeah, guys, that's really all I have for you today. This has been months and months and months in the making, and we've had a ton of fun doing this. I hope you all enjoyed. It's been a blast working on this the past couple of months. Let me know in the comment section down below what you'd like to see next. For our next mega base, I think what we're gonna do is maybe a giant steampunk city, something along those lines. And yeah, of course, also check in the description of the video if you'd like to see, you know, the videos for any of the builds that we used. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.